Hey team, Pratchett here. Now I know in a previous video we covered some of my top doubles drills, but now for all you singles players out there, in today's lesson we've got some singles strategy. So let's get into it. Now you might have heard this expression before, and that's a serve plus one strategy. And it simply refers to the shot we play immediately after the serve. So for example, I've hit a serve out wide and I hit my next shot down the line into the open court space. Even at the elite level, points are over in sort of 3, 4, 5 shots top. So that third ball is going to be super important in determining what happens and who has control of the point. And we want to get in that first strike on our opponent. Now, the most basic strategy I can give you with this would be to serve out wide and hit your next shot into the open court space like this. We also want to be hitting that second shot as early as we can. If I've hit a good serve out wide, I don't want to be waiting on the baseline back here for that ball to drop and giving my opponent time to recover. I want to get up inside the court, take that ball early, so I can take all of their time away. I also want to be looking to hit my forehand most of the time. If I've hit a good serve out wide, I should be looking to hit my forehand sort of 75 to 80% of the time. It's just going to give me the best chance to attack and control the direction of the next ball. So I'm getting around it to attack with my forehand into the space. Now, I would be running sort of this sort of play most of the time. The majority of the time, if we look at sort of setting up these patterns within the point, this is going to be the most effective as I can really get my opponent out wide off the court. If they do, though, start to sort of really sort of cheat across and sort of stand out wider and cover the tram line, well, now I've simply opened up the serve down the center of the court, down the tee here. In this situation. Also, if they hit their return and immediately sort of turn and sort of sprint across to the other side, they're not so much sidestepping and recovering back to the middle, but they're using this running step across the court here. Well, now I can sneak the ball back behind them. We call this sort of wrong footing our opponent in tennis. I can really stroke the side of the ball. I can really break the outside tram line here, and I can pull my opponent off the court this way as well. And this would still be considered a serve plus one strategy. Now we're trying to hit a winner with this shot as often as we can, but I can't switch off. I'm still going to be ready for that next ball. So for example, I've hit my serve out wide, I've gone big into the space. Well, now maybe I can follow that ball into the net, and as my opponent's under pressure, I can knock off an easy volley into the space. I could also use the volley as my plus one, and we call this a serve and volley. So I hit my serve here and I follow that ball into the net for a volley into the space. And this would really be sort of the ultimate way to take time away from my opponent. Now I can practice this in stages. I can build this up in progressions. I can start by practicing my serve in isolation and just aiming to these different areas on the court, whether that's out wide or whether that's down the tee here. Then I could have a practice partner or a coach standing in a sort of realistic returning position, so out wide off the court, feeding me a ball. I can practice the ground stroke element to this drill, where I'm practicing hitting my next shot into the space for a winner. I could then practice either hitting my serve or what I'd call like hitting a shadow serve, where I go through the motion of my serve and then having them feed the next ball in. I call this exercise like messy feeds, where I've got to then react to that ball wherever it goes and step up and put it away for a winner. And then it's just a little bit more realistic rather than hitting a serve and going sort of straight to the hopper and getting another ball. We'd never do that in a match. And finally, I can put the two together where I hit my serve and my opponent plays a live ball return, and we play the rest of the point out from there. And I'm trying to hit my next shot into the open court space. We really want to make sure we practice this and sort of train this to keep it sharp. Remember, this could be the best time within the point, the best situation we get in the point to hit our next shot into the open court space. If you don't have a coach or a practice partner, well, you can use the targets like I've got set out on the court here. I've got these cones to where we can play these practice games. I can practice if I hit my serve out wide and my next shot into the coned off area, I give myself a point. So I try and serve wide and hit my next shot into the space for a point. I've seen players do this with the sort of Rebo sort of walls and pads as well, where the ball bounces back to you and then you can hit the next ball. And if you've got access to those, that'd probably be the best way to practice this. I also like players to not only think about the strategy, but also think about sort of the technical elements as well. So I like players to have 1 foot on their serve and 1 foot on their ground stroke, whatever that is that you're working on the time. So for example, I'm trying to practice getting my ball toss more in front, and on my ground strike, I'm trying to practice rotating my body into the shot. I don't like players to have more than 1 foot because otherwise you sort of lose the strategy element to this and you kind of tie yourself up in knots, and it's that sort of paralysis by over analysis. Now you can see that I've been demonstrating this on the juice side, but obviously you can practice this on the ad side as well. We're just trying to work smarter, not harder. It's just all about sort of having this plan as you're sort of bouncing the ball when you set up for your serve here, trying to sort of have a plan of what you're going to do with the first 2 shots. Okay, thanks for watching the video, guys, and especially if you stayed all the way to the end, I appreciate that. If you have, please subscribe to the channel for more videos like this coming every week. Please give the video a like if the serve +1 is going to be your strategy in your next match, and I'll see you on court in the next video.